We're more or less in balance, but I am going to ask you for more taxes because I want to make a choice to spend more money on welfare, for example. Why didn't you say that at that time? What you said to us is, big black hole, it's terrible.
£4 billion is clearly not enough fiscal headroom. It would have been the lowest headroom.
And you made a choice. You made a choice to double the fiscal headroom.
Yes,
but my point is, you made that choice.
Yes, I did.
And you didn't tell us.
Here's a short, sharp, attention-grabbing hook for your video. Rachel Reeves thought it would be a routine interview until one brutal question exposed everything. The moment she panicked on live TV left the entire country stunned and the Labour Party scrambling for answers. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you a quick favour. If you're enjoying this content, could you take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel? Believe it or not, over 98% of viewers watch these videos without hitting that subscribe button. It's completely free, and it makes a massive difference, helping us bring you more of the content you love.
At the point when you said, you warned us we were going to have to pay, that we were going to have to pay for choices that you were making now.
Yes, and I said in that speech that I wanted to reduce the debt and reduce borrowing. So I increased that fiscal headroom. I'm very happy.
You didn't tell us you were going to tax us more in order to give you an extra £10 billion fiscal headroom.
No, Trevor, that's just not true. In that speech...
No, you didn't say it. Where did it say? Where did you say that in that speech?
I said in that speech that I wanted...
Something happened during a recent political interview that left viewers stunned, the Labour Party scrambling, and Rachel Reeves visibly shaken. What started as a confident policy discussion suddenly spiraled into one of the most uncomfortable exchanges of her political career. Viewers witnessed a moment where composure cracked, answers collapsed, and pressure exposed a truth Reeves seemed desperate to avoid addressing directly. And today, we're breaking down exactly what happened, why the interview shook the Labour Party, and why so many people say the moment left them speechless. It began innocently enough. The interviewer asked Rachel Reeves to explain the numbers behind the party's latest economic plan. For weeks, Labour had promoted the idea that their strategy was fully funded, responsible, and built on solid financial ground. But behind the scenes, economists, journalists, and even some Labour insiders were quietly raising the same question: where exactly is the missing £30 billion? How does the math add up? And why do the numbers keep changing every time Reeves is asked for a breakdown? That's when the interviewer pushed harder, refusing to let the moment slide. He pressed her on figures, calculations, and funding gaps, and instead of clearing the air, Reeves hesitated just long enough for the entire tone of the conversation to shift. You could feel the tension rise. Her confident rhythm slowed. Her responses became vaguer, more defensive, and more noticeably strained. Viewers immediately picked up on something. She didn't seem prepared for the follow-up questions. The interviewer repeated the question a third time, asking for a simple, specific explanation. How does Labour cover the £30 billion gap without raising taxes or cutting essential services? And that's when Reeves made the moment worse. She tried to deflect, insisting the numbers were all there and fully costed, but she still didn't provide the details being requested. The interviewer paused, stared at her, and then spoke the line that exploded across social media within minutes. "Rachel, with respect, your figures don't add up." That sentence changed everything. The entire atmosphere shifted from a routine interview into a brutal political confrontation. Reeves attempted to take control again, but every time she tried to pivot, the interviewer calmly pulled her back to the same core question, and with each attempt, the pressure grew heavier. The frustration in her voice became clearer. Her confidence cracked. She stumbled mid-sentence. She tried to restart her explanation. And the more she tried to talk her way out of the moment, the more obvious it became that she was trapped in a corner she had not prepared for. By the time the interview ended, viewers weren't talking about Labour's plan, they were talking about Reeves's reaction. She panicked. She froze. She looked rattled. These were the comments flooding social media, not from political opponents, but from regular viewers who were stunned by how quickly the interview spiraled. And then came the bigger question: what does this mean for the Labour Party? For months, Labour has been trying to project stability, control, and competence. Their top message has been simple: they are ready to run the country and ready to fix the economy. But when the shadow chancellor, the person responsible for explaining every pound, every plan, every policy, struggles to answer questions about a £30 billion gap, it creates doubt. Even Labour supporters expressed concern online, wondering why the communication was so unclear, why the numbers seemed inconsistent, and why Reeves looked unprepared for the very questions she should have expected. Critics say the interview exposed deeper issues within Labour's economic messaging, that it's polished but not always backed by clear explanations. Supporters, meanwhile, argue that Reeves was simply caught in a high-pressure moment and that the party will clarify the details in due time. But regardless of where people stand politically, one thing was undeniable. This was one of the most talked-about political interviews of the week. And what really left viewers speechless wasn't just the missing numbers, it was the reaction, the visible discomfort, the real-time panic.